Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be talking about selling Warhammer on eBay. I've been buying and selling quite a lot of Warhammer this last month or so. Most of what you can see here is Warhammer 40k. There's a little bit of Age of Sigmar. I've sort of been out of touch with it really for a long time. I've had to learn quite a lot over this last couple of weeks, so I thought I would share that in this video. Okay, before you sell anything, the first thing I recommend you do is actually find out what it is you're selling. And the reason for that is there can be tons of value in stuff and you not realise it. But just to give you an indication, that, you wouldn't believe how much that's worth. That thing there isn't just any old sword. That sword belongs to Abaddon the Despoiler. So here is Abaddon the Despoiler on the Warhammer website. £44 just for this guy. And if we come down here, that's his sword. So that's the same sword that we've got. Here it is on the sprue. And if he's 40, what you find is with Warhammer stuff, if the model's expensive, the bits are expensive as well. So here you can see in the last month or so, that sword just on its own has sold for £13 and then £15, so 17 including postage. So basically this is why you find out what it is you're selling. If you want to know how to find out what you're selling and you don't know, you've got no reference, you've got no boxes, you didn't buy the stuff, then the best thing to do is go to Google Lens. So you can download it on the App Store and on Google Play. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick demo of how you use Google Lens on Warhammer. So open up the app on your phone and then just basically point it at the item that you want to look at. It does work on whole sprues, but I find generally it works better on items. Depends. If it's a full sprue, then that usually works okay. But generally on sort of big, interesting items, then it works best. And then what it'll do is it'll just pull up images that are similar. Sometimes it doesn't get it straight away, sometimes, but then usually find it with a bit of a scroll it gets it absolutely bang on. So here you can see we've got a Daemon Prince torso, and then we'll go and have a look at that now on the desktop and see how much they're worth. So we saw on Google Lens that that item was a Chaos Daemon torso. So I've banged that into eBay, and straight away I can see there's one here that looks exactly like my one that's selling for £4. It's including postage. One there, £5 plus £2.50 postage. Same person there selling the other one. So, but this is what people are selling it for. This is what comes up when you do best match. So if you scroll down a bit on the left, you can do this on mobile as well. It's in the filters. Click on sold items, and we'll scroll down there. So that one sold for, okay, so it's probably around the £4 if you include postage. And if you keep going, so there's not that many of that exact one. People tend to sell a lot of the bits, which is fine because I've got quite a few of the bits, so I've got a couple of sprues like that pretty much, which is good news because that sold for £30. Let's say depending on what you're selling, you'll get a feel for what the price should be. And also what I found is doing this, you scroll down, you see like, oh, I've got some of those. That's and you find out what things are. So I found this a really useful practice. The next thing to think about before you list anything is how are you going to post it? And with Warhammer, particularly with figures, they have lots of spindly, spiky bits on them. And what I found the best is actually glue roll. So toilet roll doesn't have to be fancy stuff, but toilet roll is one of the best things I've found. Once you know roughly what you've got and a vague idea of what it's worth, and then you can decide whether you sell things individually, like say like this guy's sword, or whether you sell things as a bundle, in bits and things like that. I would say the bigger bundles you make, the less you'll make per item, but you make more money faster probably. So now we're going to look at what affects the prices of things. We're going to look at condition, but also if you look at this guy, he's £44 and that's one guy. The reason he's more expensive is the utility that he brings to the game, like a leader, elite sort of character, as are most of these. But this guy is going to bring a lot more to someone who buys him, who plays the game. That guy's £44. If we scroll up here, those 5 guys are only £40. And if we go further up, you can probably get, okay, there's 10 guys there for £30. So if you're playing the game, these guys, fighting any given thing, these guys would probably die before he did, even though there's 10 of them. So that's one side of it. There's the gaming side, but then there's also the aesthetic side as well, which we'll come on to now. So the condition has a big effect on how much things are worth. As we've seen, people sell like whole bundles of sprues of stuff, or like half-empty sprues. People sell brand new stuff. People sell painted armies, things like that. This is I'm going to start at like the bottom end really. So these things are all either, I would say, badly painted or broken, incomplete or modified. It's all subjective. So that there, the painting's not horrendous on it. For some people, that's no good. They just wouldn't touch that. Whereas having Having something that's undercoated isn't necessarily the end of the world. Like this guy and that guy, they came in, basically all of this pretty much came in the same bundle. But this guy and that guy were definitely sort of together, and I've got a few more of them. I undercoated this one. I didn't undercoat that one. This is something else we'll touch on. He's actually a blood angel, so we'll come into the lore of it in a minute. So, or is he a dark angel? I can't even remember. You know, I think it needs to be red or dark green, not blue, which this guy is. I don't know if I should really have painted his face blue, but anyway. There's, like, this guy, okay, if someone wants to buy ultramarines, that guy, someone can work with that. Whereas if someone wants to paint him red, they're not going to be as interested in that guy. So you see now his arm's fallen off. If I'd bought this from scratch, I would have left the arms off, because like with this one I said badly assembled. This one isn't badly assembled as such, but it's assembled and it's been glued on. So you can't get the paint very easily into those places. So I would have left the arms off this model. On his shoulder pad there, just on the bottom corner there, there's a big lump of sprue still on him. And quite a lot of the models, like you can see on the top of his shoulder pad, there's a big lump of sprue. And like some people, once upon a time, I would never have noticed that, but now I've seen it, I can't unsee it. That's actually quite big, you know, it's like bigger than his ear, you know, so it's, in terms of the model, it's relatively big. And there's lots, there's another one there on the back of his other shoulder pad. Things like that irritate people. So if you've already painted it, people are going to look at that and go, oh, that's not good, I don't like that. So these are all things that devalue it. So that's why people often like stuff to still be on the sprue, because they can take stuff off the sprue and they can, like where you get a little mark where that thing is, they'll file that down and they'll make it nice. So that's why that's why the sprue is so much more desirable. That's better than that. That's better than that. And then that's better than, you know, all of that. But also like the age of stuff. So if we go, like this is from 2001, this sprue, and I've got some stuff from like 93 in that box over there. So some of it's less desirable because it's older and it's a slight, like the designs change a bit, but then there's still demand for it because some people have tons of that stuff and there's still some of it about, so people want to match things up. So there's lots of nuances, there's lots of things to learn and things to appreciate, and you don't necessarily have to appreciate it all. It's just that if you know it exists and you put the information in the listing about what it is, the people who care will find it, which is why you should find out as much about it as you can before you list it. Don't write stuff off as being kind of worthless if it's either broken like this, or if it's like empty sprue. People take broken stuff, and I actually want to do a little project with this one because I've got most of the other bits for it. I want to try and restore it. But people do what's called kit bashing. So they take things and they repair them basically, or they'll swap that guy out and put a different head on him, you know, and paint it up. You know, literally nothing is worthless. Even the box, the manuals, the transfers. There are some other things that affect the value of Games Workshop miniatures. You could divide those into the kind of the supply and demand side of things, but also the kind of the story and the lore-based stuff as well. So you'll find that some types of miniatures, things like Space Marine-based ones, will have a lot more lore and a lot more story behind them. So you might find that certain things become more valuable because they're featured in a game or in a book. I've got absolutely tons of this stuff to sell, and I'm going to be listing it over the next few weeks. I've been selling it in lots of different ways. So I've been selling figures, I've been selling assembled figures, I've been selling fully painted figures, I've been selling like literally individual items, and I've been selling like big bundles of sprue. So all sorts of stuff has gone. I'll be doing some more update videos. I do kind of miss the creative side of it. There are some projects like I want to try my hand at painting. I want to try and I've got like 10 random Space Marines, so I want to try and paint them up and make them look better than a lot of the stuff that I've been picking up in auctions. Like I said, I've got most of the bits for this guy. I think this guy is called Death Dread, and he's like quite a big orc sort of leadership character. So I want to try and improve, you know, see if I've got all the bits to make him. I have got lots and lots of bits, orc bits, things like that. So I don't know if I'll have time to do everything, but that's the kind of, I want to do some more Warhammer content, and I want to keep selling Warhammer because I'm enjoying it, as well as it being successful and more worthwhile than a lot of the other eBay things that I've tried selling. So thanks for watching the video. Please do leave me some comments. Please be kind in the comments if I've been talking rubbish about Warhammer and you know more about Warhammer than me. I will see you in the next video. And please, yeah, leave me some comments if you want to see stuff, if you want to see how badly I paint things, if you want to see how badly I kit bash, then yeah, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.